Was there DEI and all that crap going on in the company?
This was truly about, we, as you look around, we embroider that logo on so many things, hats and shirts, and it was truly about making it more simple as part of a system.
Had the company embraced DEI as a culture?
Cracker Barrel has always been about welcoming everybody in.
What I'm asking you, was that part of any of the strategy that this was becoming, we have to make political statements?
No, it's pancakes.
Not even one time.
Yeah, we're not trying to make political statements.
Why is it so difficult just to tell the damn truth? Why is it so hard to be honest? Even if you weren't going to be genuine, even if it was coming from a public relations perspective, the easiest thing for Julie Masino, who by some miracle is still the CEO of Cracker Barrel, the easiest thing for her to do here is say, I messed up. Yes, I allowed the disease of diversity to influence my decisions. Yes, I listened to some doofus with a PhD in wiener, and I allowed him to cloud my better judgment. Yes, I now realize it was a monumental mistake to embrace the woke fungus. And I'm here to tell America, I am here to tell our loyal customers that it will never happen again. Why in the hell is that so difficult? As you just saw in that clip, Glenn Beck was begging. He was begging Julie Masino to own up to her mistakes. To his credit, Glenn Beck didn't ask Julie Masino about tasting the rainbow once and allow her to get away with some corporately structured response. He didn't ask her twice. Glenn Beck asked her 3 times. He gave her 3 opportunities to admit, I fucked up. And instead of admitting her mistakes, instead of being vulnerable, instead of being relatable, because there is nothing more relatable than admitting when you're wrong. We all make mistakes. Every person on this planet can relate to making a mistake. But instead of being relatable, Julie Masino grabbed the woke shovel and she proceeded to bury the Cracker Barrel brand even deeper in the woke cemetery. And if she thinks firing some doofus DEI consultant, if she thinks that is going to be enough to get normal people back to eating the unbelievably bad food at Cracker Barrel, Uncle KC has an easy prediction for Julie Masino. It ain't gonna work. This week, the board of directors at Cracker Barrel, they announced the firing of their resident DEI doofus, Gilbert Davila. Well, KC, Dilbert didn't get fired. He resigned. He quit. Yeah, in corporate America, in most high-profile jobs, when someone suddenly announces their resignation, in the vast majority of cases, they are not stepping away voluntarily. They're not just walking away from a multi-million-dollar job. In most cases, the company finally decided to grab the extinguisher and put out the flaming ass fire. Case in point, Gilbert Davila. Unbelievably, the board of directors at Cracker Barrel, they begged their shareholders to keep Gilbert Davila on the board. For those that don't know, the shareholders, they vote for who they want to be on the board of directors. For reasons unknown, the board begged shareholders to re-elect their diversity doofus. And the shareholders said, eat my ass. What was surprising, though, was the fact that shareholders elected to keep Julie Masino as CEO. But just because shareholders refused to fire Julie, that does not mean her job is secure. Julie Masino might still be the CEO of Cracker Barrel. She still has the title, but that does not mean she hasn't been fired by America. And you don't have to take my word for it. Uncle KC always comes with the proof. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So I can get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. As you guys know, I've got young nephews. Oldest is 8, youngest nephew is 6. Like most young boys, they deal with various skin ailments: psoriasis, eczema, itchy, dry skin. Hell, I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified to diagnose what the hell it is. I just know it's a nuisance they no longer have to deal with because my sister started using oat and honey soap from Sugar Mountain Trading. This soap is ideal for sensitive skin, offering a gentle yet effective solution for various dermatological issues. Its American-made origins guarantees the highest standards of production. Also comes available with CBD. So if you're dealing with skin issues and pain, CBD version, take care of both. You'll be pain-free and smelling like fresh raspberries. Hell, that's literally the reason my wife uses it. She still uses the standard CBD oil for pain, but she prefers the raspberry soap because she thinks it smells good. Like I said, oat and honey soap. It is available with or without CBD. So become pain-free while smelling fresh today by clicking the link in the description below. They have upped their discount code for the holidays. New discount code, BTL35. Use it. Receive 35% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. Since the backlash that started in August when Julie Masino made the ill-advised decision to go on Good Morning America to announce that Cracker Barrel was embracing values that many believe are anti-American, the company has done everything they can to mitigate this irreversible damage. They got rid of their new logo and returned to the original Cracker Barrel logo. They halted the rebranding of Cracker Barrel locations. They have offered specials. They have essentially begged normal people to forgive them. And look, America is a very forgiving country. I'm sure some people have forgiven Cracker Barrel, but that does not mean they have forgotten. Since their embrace of the woke wiener in August, Cracker Barrel sales have declined by 8%. Where are they seeing their biggest declines? Where are they seeing the most empty tables? The Southeast. To make matters worse, Cracker Barrel stock has taken a beating. In the last month, Cracker Barrel has lost 27% of its value. Last 6 months, they have lost 50%. Going into August, Cracker Barrel shares were trading for around $60 a share. Yesterday, they were down to $27. Now you got to remember, this is during a time when the stock market is seeing record highs. I've got 2 401ks along with an investment account that I set up when I quit my job to do YouTube. Earlier this month, I received my quarterly statements. My 401ks are making thousands of dollars, mainly because I'm not investing in Cracker Barrel. By the way, if you want a good stock tip, and before I say this, Uncle KC is not an investment expert, so take this for what it's worth. When I worked at Fastenal, the company matched my 401k contributions with shares in Fastenal stock. I haven't worked at Fastenal since 2013, but I've left the account alone because their stock performs so well. Every 5 or 6 years, once the stock price reaches $50, $60 a share, Fastenal does a split, which means the number of shares that you own doubles. Look into it for yourself, but if you want a good, reliable stock, invest in Fastenal. Anyway, with Cracker Barrel seemingly on life support, it makes sense as to why Julie Masino is pleading for America's sympathy. Through most of her interview with Glenn Beck, she was a bit guarded. She was giving corporate answers. But there was one moment where Julie Masino was vulnerable. There was one moment where she was genuine. Watch for yourself.
Were you surprised you weren't fired?
I feel like I've been fired by America.
I bet you did. Yeah. That's probably worse.
Yeah, because it's hard because, again, all I've wanted to do was help people love this brand.
The beginning of that answer was the most genuine thing I have heard from somebody in your position in a very long time. I can see that I can see in your eyes right now, that hurt deeply, personally.
I want people to love this place.
I might be naive here, but I think those were real tears. Either they were real or Julie Masino is in the wrong profession. If she's that good of an actress, she needs to be in Hollywood. Here's what I think happened with Cracker Barrel. There is not a doubt in my mind that Julie Masino cares about the future of Cracker Barrel, which is probably why the shareholders, the people who follow the business every day, it's probably why they elected to keep Julie Masino as the CEO, the leader of the company. I think she was given bad advice. I think she allowed the Titanic to be steered directly into the frozen wiener. Before they embraced the woke fungus, Cracker Barrel had been struggling for years. In 2023, sales declined by 26%. Now, Julie Masino, she became CEO in July of 2023. When you're in the midst of a struggle, a crisis, you're more susceptible to making decisions out of desperation. You're more susceptible to doing things that you wouldn't normally do. I think their DEI consultant was doing his job. He was doing what he was hired to do. He consulted with Julie Masino and came up with a brilliant idea to increase sales. Hey, Julie, I got a great idea. Let's make Cracker Barrel more inclusive. Instead of catering to old white people, instead of flaunting our white privilege, let's make Cracker Barrel welcoming to everyone. Let's taste the rainbow together. Unfortunately, Julie Masino, she listened to this advice. As is often the case when you try to be inclusive, when you try to be friends with everyone, you end up pissing everyone off. And now, instead of having inclusive customers, Cracker Barrel has no customers. You know, it is okay for businesses to cater to certain demographics. It's okay for BET to cater to black people. Okay for HBCUs to prioritize black students. It's okay for Logo to cater to the LGBT. And it's okay for Cracker Barrel to be a place where old, retired white people eat breakfast. Targeting an exclusive demographic, that's not a sin. It's not racist. It's not homophobic. It's good business. Academy Sports targets athletes, golfers. When I go to Academy to buy golf balls, I don't expect them to serve me breakfast. My wife doesn't go to Academy looking for a Louis Vuitton purse. It's okay for businesses to target an exclusive demo where they constantly make a mistake, and for some reason, they continue to do this, even though we have plenty of examples proving it doesn't work. Where businesses constantly make the same mistake is when they decide to be inclusive. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.